Good evening, everybody. This is Robin with another edition of Horror Pop After Midnight. And my guests tonight are, they're no strangers to the show. Welcome back, filmmaker brothers Matthew Barber and Nathaniel Barber. How's it going, guys?
It's going great. Hi, it's great to be back.
I know it's always a blast when you guys come on. Yeah, you guys have been making short films like crazy. Tell us about your latest short film you're doing that's going to be at the Dances with Films Festival.
Yeah, we have our latest horror short film. It's called Sempre Avanti, and it's about two U.S. soldiers that plunge into a suspected enemy combatant tunnel system during the Vietnam War, only to awaken unparalleled horrors. And yeah, this will be screening on June 24th at 11:45 at the Midnight Shorts Group 1 at the Chinese Theater at Dance with Films.
Hey, that's epic to be at the Chinese Theater. I mean, there's a lot of, horror short films that's been shown at the Chinese Theater, through all these film festivals. So that's got to be a big deal since your short horror film's going to be shown there.
Yeah, it just kind of blew my mind when we got in to Dance with Films, because it was like really well-made shorts get into this festival, and the history there alone. It's like Howard Hughes had movies, premiere there, and to have our movie premiere at the same place where at the Chinese Theater. The Chinese Theater, and then Star Wars premiered there, and it's like, wow, we're screening at the same same place that Star Wars did, so. It's a bit overwhelming, to say the least. Yeah, I mean, it was definitely, it's the first time when I got it, as far as receiving an acceptance to a festival, where I just was completely shocked. I didn't know how to respond to it. And we didn't, because we've made tons of films, and out of all the films to get in, it's like this one, because it's definitely the most entertainment. It's like it has a title that sounds real artsy, but it's named Sempre Avanti for just the geekiest reason possible. And it's like, I would have named it something else, something that people would know what it was, had I known it would get into a huge festival. But yeah. But yeah, Sempre Avanti, it means always forward. That's the English translation. So that's, yeah.
Yeah, I remember we were talking about this, that you guys were writing it and getting ready to film it and stuff. I think it's kind of cool because it's about, of course, it's two U.S. soldiers, but they're tunnel rats climbing into enemy tunnels in Vietnam, which can also be freaky because unless you're claustrophobic, you're in tight spaces. You don't know what you're going to get into. You don't know if you're going to hit a landmine or something inside that tunnel. So what decided you to do a Vietnam short horror film with a little paranormal in it?
This one, it was kind of an inspiration. I'd never heard of tunnel rats until I was reading a Harry Bosch detective book, The Black Echo by Michael Connolly, a couple years ago. And that's when I was introduced to that. It's just kind of like been put off in my mind about tunnel rats. And then I guess we shot a short last January that dealt with a little bit of claustrophobia. And then in the back of my mind, I'm thinking about the tunnel again. And it's like, oh, I wonder about doing tunnel rats. But then it was like, well, that was horrible. The last movie we just shot that was in a claustrophobic location. Why would we want to do that again? And it kind of led to writing this. Yeah, and the whole concept, at least when I was told, the whole concept of tunnel rats and what they dealt with is, crawling into these VC tunnels. And for the majority of the time, they wouldn't even use their flashlights. It's just pitch black, and you're just crawling through darkness, and you don't know if there's booby traps, because the VC would get punji stakes and catch booby traps that would have vipers, snakes attached to them. So you just get hit in the head with snakes, and then there'd be gases that fill the But the concept in itself is absolutely terrifying. Just the real idea of it, and it was like, crap, make something like that. And basically, for the listeners, the VC would literally build these tunnels, and these would have hospitals. They'd have intelligence rooms. But going to those rooms would be these tunnels that would be around 24 inches wide, just enough for American soldiers. Our shoulders were too big. And then less than 2 feet tall. So you're crawling these claustrophobic tunnels that would then open up to larger rooms. Yeah, subterranean tunnels. And a lot of times they would even have, like he was saying, booby traps. It's like sometimes there would be tunnels that would be literally just lead to a dead end because there were, various booby traps. They'd have mines. They'd have grenades in a can, which is a grenade put in a can with a wire. It would go across, and once you went by, it set off the grenade. Like he was saying, punji stakes up above with vipers, and sometimes punji stakes that would be under a hidden floor. So you'd be moving, and your arm would just go through the ground, and these stakes would be there. But it was something that American soldiers, Australian soldiers actually first started it, and then the Americans caught on. But it was American soldiers were supposed to clean out these tunnels and get intel. And when you go down in there, you pretty much have to strip down of everything. Your helmet was too big, so you'd have to take off everything except you'd have a 1911 pistol and a angle head flashlight, and that's all you'd have. And you'd go into these tunnels, head first and into pitch blackness. And a lot of times the guys would say that it would be easier. They said the job got easier when you realize that you're already dead, and then you could go through and do your work. But it was just grueling work, and it took people with incredible courage to do this. So it's something that caught our attention. It's like, oh, this could be.
It's a very really dramatic concept, and to make it into a short film, it just seemed like something that was like, yeah, I want to do that.
Yeah,
it's gonna be awful making the movie, but I want to do that.
Yeah.
So, did you build when you were filming it? Where'd you film it at? And did you build the tunnels while you were like crawling in it?
Yeah, initially we when we were first writing the script, we had considered for a while actually digging tunnels, like in a backyard, or our uncle has some land. We're like, maybe we could dig some tunnels. And then we started thinking that was like, we would deal with if we did that, we would deal with the real problems like collapses, snakes could get in there, it could flood if it rains. So that started seeming a little
it becomes real dangerous. Like, because I was watching the commentary to Platoon, and they have a tunnel rat sequence in that movie where William Dafoe's running through. The one that he's in is actually tall.
Something
something you can run through. But had several diggers die in a collapse when making that set. So it became obvious early on. It's like, okay, let's make something. And that's what we did for 3 months. It's like it was brutal. I mean, we used a lot of techniques. I found a magazine where they talk about how they built the cave sets in Stranger Things, and it was with spray foam and
chicken wire.
Yeah, so it's wood frame with chicken wire to shape it, then spray foam, and then you carve the spray foam and then put a drywall mixture over it to get that gritty sand texture. But it was literally doing the way we did it. We were like, let's try to make this as real as possible, where unlike some movies, when you have claustrophobic scenes, they'll pull out a wall so you can get fancy camera angles.
Breakaway set, so you can get a wider shot.
This thing had nothing like that. So it's like you were limited to the type of shots you could get, but it would put the audience in more of a realism of that claustrophobia.
As far as what you could see, it's a concept that is like, yes, I want it to look and feel real, but as a filmmaker, you're like, oh, if I only could move a couple feet over, I'd have the perfect shot. So there was something that it was like, it hurt at times, but it gives the film a more grounded look.
And that's another thing, like with the lighting to it, a lot of tunnel scenes you'll see they'll have a backlight in the back, this gorgeous backlight. They'll have like some fog or something, so the end of the tunnels, and then they'll have, standard lighting, 3-point lighting. Sometimes lighting will be drifting down from a hole in the ceiling. But it's like, for this, it's like, okay, we're going to go as real as possible, so it's 1-point lighting, which is scary because 1-point lighting can be incredibly ugly.
Just pretty much relying on his flashlight as being the main
key light, because we looked at a lot of stuff, like there's the movie The Cave, and it has the brightest sets ever, and it's like, where is this light coming from?
Yeah, they're 2,000 feet under the ground.
It's like, for a movie like that, it's like, okay, that makes sense, but for what we wanted to do, because we really wanted to focus on the horror aspect of it, in the unknown and the darkness, so we stuck to something a little more grounded as far as lighting it. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I saw the trailer for it, and it looked pretty deep and creepy, showing the main character, crawling through this little tunnel. Like you said, when you're watching it, you do feel with that soldier what he's going through, because you can kind of feel a little bit with him, but not even be in that tunnel. You can get sort of that like claustrophobic feel a little bit too. So you were saying when you were doing the cinematography, going through the tunnels you made. So was that like real? Like you said, was it like real hard just to be able to get in there with the actors?
It was nightmarish. Just as far as like you couldn't. There were just places in the tunnel that you couldn't get the camera equipment deep enough.
Yeah, let alone sound. Yeah.
And it was like holding the camera in the most awkward, terrible positions. And I mean, like, even like elbows would just be scraped from just, hours and hours of just being on your hands and knees. And really by the end, we would pretty much call a day when my back would give out, because we'd shot.
Aleve was the savior for this movie.
But we had shot a film, I guess about a year before, called Get Out of There, and its finale had Nathan's leg breaks at the end. It was a big hole we dug, and when we dug that hole, I really hurt my back then. So this movie was just a reminder every day of it was just so physically painful to shoot. And then just setting up, it was really difficult to find a place. How do you set up your lights and not have them in the shot? Especially just how the set was built. It was just the biggest technical headache. Mm-hmm. But it was one of those things, because how it looked, as soon as you were in there, and I was looking through the camera, it felt like I was inside this cave, underground, or inside this tunnel, 30 feet beneath the earth. It was one that was instantly...
Yeah, it was immersive being in there. Except the only thing, since we shot it in a garage, it's like every once in a while you'll hear like weed eaters going off. Now, of course, that's not in the movie, but it's like you're in the zone and you're doing the scene, and then you hear a lawnmower or a weed eater or someone bouncing a basketball, and it's like, oh yeah, that's right, I'm in a garage in a hole.
That's why you love the world. That's why you love the world of technology, because you can edit that stuff.
Yeah. And it was the first time we had employed using music. I just put the soundtrack to Alien and just had it in a loop and just had kind of moody music.
So we just did this because Stanley Kubrick did that with the maze scenes in The Shining. But this was something that was nice, because I had forgotten about that, because the lawnmowers and stuff were
music.
So it's like, okay, since we're doing 100% ADR and Foley to begin with, it's like, might as well just have something to get you in the scene. But yeah.
That's pretty cool, because I was going to ask you what type of music you were going to use. So on the costumes that you wore, were they like legit, Vietnam tunnel rat uniforms?
Yeah, we did a lot of searching, and at the end of the day, it was cheaper to find real used Vietnam uniforms than the repo ones. And like the shirt, for example, comes from the same era. Our film's based in 1965, and the shirt is from that same era, and it's actually like my name tag. It says Deal on it, and that was a real guy's like the name tag. When I bought it on eBay, it's like it came with it, and it was like, oh, that's great. And Deal it's spelled Dieyhl, something like that. It is die in it. That's the point. And I was like, oh, that's kind of neat. But it was cool having a real Vietnam, like my shirt, my pants, my jungle boots were repo. All my stuff on my back. There's I can't remember what.
There's a gas mask bag.
And
But like for example,
ammo pouch.
Yeah, ammo pouch.
Yeah.
And for the angle head flashlight, actually, it wasn't a repo, which was scary because we had one angle head flashlight, and the old ones have a little barcode on the side where it lights up, and it was kind of a light olive green, but it's like this one was actually Vietnam era, so it was from the 1960s, and we only had one of them, and it's like, oh, for the love of God, don't let this go out. So I had like replacement bulbs and stuff,
and like falling, sometimes it kind of dim, so we had to. It's like,
yeah, your heart would just sink. It's like, oh God, I don't know where we're gonna find another one.
But that was one of like the first day we shot. I say day, even though it's dark at night in the film, but it was like it occurred to me. It's like this whole scene is shot with a Vietnam era flashlight, and it's like that's pretty damn cool.
Yeah. And like another thing, we had, I have a bayonet in the movie, and the bayonet's actually my grandfather's bayonet from World War II. It was a Japanese bayonet that he had got. And we just, since Vietnam's so customizable, it's like, oh, I've got this bayonet. And it's a really cool bayonet. It's like, let's use it in the movie. And it had like, family history. And actually the Foley sounds for my dog tags were my other grandfather's, his dog tags. So those were World War II dog tags. So it's for us, it was kind of geeking out. It's like, oh, this is cool. This is the sound of a real World War II dog tag in our movie. I mean, they didn't even know, but even though it's Vietnam, but yeah.
Yeah. Tell me a little bit about the supernatural aspect of it.
Matthew's a little hesitant, but there are some twists and turns. The movie's very much like a roller coaster because it's like when you think it's about this, it becomes about this, and
and that was the part of the script because as soon as Nathan gave me the script, he says, "You're not going to like this. It's going to take place in a tunnel," and it's like, and I was like, "Oh man, that's going to be hard on my back." And I read about a page and a half, and I was like, "Damn it, I got to make this movie now." And it was just such a turn it took that I was like, okay, it doesn't matter what pain we have to go through, we have to make this movie. But it's very much a cliffhanger kind of movie. It's almost
this is your like Predator, Aliens type. That's the type of fun we're looking for in this movie. Even though it has a title, Sempre Avanti, it's very much a B movie at heart.
Yeah, and it's the first film I've made where there wasn't a particular movie that as far as like doing storyboards and stuff, where I was like, oh, this is my big inspiration. It's almost like, to me, the script felt like a celebration of every movie. So it was just a love of movies as far as thrillers and action movies.
Yeah, and that's horror. The thing, like the supernatural part, it's like the first part of the movie, it's full on war movie. We were shooting a war movie for days, and then when we got to what the movie was about, it's like, this is weird. What are we doing? Is this even going to work?
The contrast was so drastic that it was like, should we just make this straight
the
Vietnam? Because this feels so, because we shot it in order. So it's Vietnam, and then the day came where we did the twist, and it was like, what?
This is a little wild. Yeah, it gets a little bonkers there. I can't wait until we can actually send it to you so you can see it, because I think you'll like it.
I can't wait, man. I've been dying to see this because I've talked to you guys about this. So is this the first festival you submitted it to, or did you also submit it to some other festivals?
This is the first one we've heard from.
Okay.
So there's other ones in a month or two that we'll start,
as far as, because it's usually you get a bunch of, at least for us, it's like you get a bunch of your early notifications are rejection. And the first notification for this one was Dancing with Films. It's like, oh, I'm just not going to look when that date comes. I'm not going to pay attention. I'll just let it see my email and find it. And then it's like, whoa, we got into Dancing with Films?
I thought they were going to change their minds.
They did see this movie, didn't they?
Hey, that's pretty good. I'm glad because I really do enjoy your short films. No shit.
Thank you.
So, did you guys mostly do the special effects yourself, or did you have somebody else do it?
There's we did a bit ourselves, and then there's a company that makes these really great masks called Immortal Masks. silicone. They're almost like, when you put them on, they're like Mission Impossible. They adhere to your face.
Tight,
skin tight. So
it looks just like Tom Cruise. You wouldn't be able to tell him.
Yeah, so I mean, I may be giving away more than I should, but yeah, so we did that, and then
that's the big twist. It's out now. Tom Cruise is in the movie.
Oh yeah! Wow. Did he wear his high platform boots so he can look tall in the camera? Hey, that's what I read and heard about. I heard him and Stallone did that to make him look tall on the camera because they're short dudes. Yeah. Tom Cruise is a short dude. Oh my gosh! So you're saying this film was about two soldiers. So was there another actor who also played a soldier?
Yeah, we found a really talented actor. No, I'm just kidding. Me. I played the other part. But yeah, it's probably my best performance. No, it's yeah. I got by.
Yeah, you basically see the other. I mean, I guess getting away a little. You basically see the other guys more as a silhouette moving. Matthew's running point.
Okay.
So we didn't need a face, and since the location was so small, it's like okay, we'll both be in the movie. he probably didn't want to admit to it, but yeah, he's in.
But yeah, and it was. Because it was such a hard location. That was the main. Once we built it, I mean, just as we were building it, it kind of grew more and more like it's like claustrophobic because you're carving it and you're like, this is gonna. It was hard to create and be inside there, let alone shoot a movie in there. I mean, actually, within 5 minutes of being inside there, the first day we were filming it, I backed up and my pocket caught one of this foam rocks and tore it off. Ooh. And I was like, oh, man. I hadn't even shot the first shot, and I was like, this movie's dead. This is an omen.
This is going to be hell.
It's going to be so bad. Luckily, it was an easy fix, but it was just like, oh, man.
Quick spray paint. And so the first day shooting, the cave smells like spray paint.
just a little dizzy.
Yeah,
just
a little dizzy.
Completely safe.
So you were like Curious George, so you took the smell, right? Hey, you just don't know, man. Sometimes you got to be curious, man, when you're filming the scene with all that asbestos and stuff. Why not, man? Might as well take a little high just one time. Do you I know you guys do a lot of short films. Do you ever maybe think this could be a feature film?
I would love to make this Sempre Avanti into a feature. There were so many ideas we had after we finished the short where it's like, oh, what would have been cool? You know what would have been cool? And it just kind of started piling up. So we actually, as soon as we finished it, I started working on a script, and I'm like 75 pages in now. I was actually working on it about 30 minutes ago. But yeah, we're actually fleshing out a script in hopes that someone would want to make a film.
Yeah, it's very military and very adventure.
Well, it's got that 80s action. Yeah, because we just love those movies. Mm-hmm. And it's just like, it's the kind of movie that's like, I want to see this. It'd be really cool if we could make it.
That would be awesome. I would love to see a feature film from the Barber brothers, man. Come on, man. It'd be cool. Besides you writing that script, are you doing any other shorts? You have any ideas you're going to be doing in the near future?
We have right now. We have another short that we had finished when we're just waiting on word for it for other festivals. Because we have two. We have three that'll be going to festivals this year, and so that's kind of our priority.
Yeah, that's the weird thing that the one that we shot before Shelter Half. We shot Shelter Half in January and Sempre Avanti in November. But it's like Shelter Half, we've been waiting all this time we haven't even got updates for it yet. And now the movie that we sent in first is now going to be premiering later on versus, vice versa. I think I'm completely pumped that up.
That's a great story. Thank you for sharing that with us.
Hey, you guys are having fun, man. You're filmmaking, man. You're making these interesting, short films, man. Hey, I give you guys props. At least you guys are out there having fun. That's what counts. That's what independent filmmaking's all about, man. You go out there and just put your blood, sweat, and tears in it and see what you can get. Write that script, and who knows what could happen when you film this like marvelous independent film of any indie filmmaker out there. It could be like regular independent film besides horror too, but that's pretty wild. And man, I'm just excited you guys are going to do a feature film, man. You guys better get out there and get that Indiegogo or Kickstarter something. Get that money, man. You got to have money to make a good feature film. Since you already filmed this, so what else have you guys been doing besides filmmaking? What has the Barber brothers been enjoying? You have any like little passions you guys enjoy doing besides filmmaking and writing and having a ball?
I don't watching a lot of movies. I don't know.
Yeah, just a little obsessed with movies. It may be a 24-hour job.
Yeah.
Hey, that's all right, man. I've been watching movies like crazy. I've been getting films sent to me, screeners sent to me, filmmakers hit me up. I've been podcasting like a madhouse and watching films.
Yeah, I've been seeing that.
I know. And then one of the guys at work goes, "You know something, Robin?" And I was like, "What's that?" He goes, "You're always doing these podcasting, watching movies all the time, doing this and this." He goes, "You need to get laid." and I looked at him and I turned my head and thought for a minute. I was like, "You know something? You're right." Hey, we're doing what we're having fun and stuff. But when he said that to me, I started busting up laughing. I was like, only you would say that. It's like, and I've had other people go, so is there like a special someone? No, I'm just too busy doing my thing. And they just look at you like you're crazy, but that's all right. I'm crazy anyway, so. Oh my gosh. Yeah. The next film festival I'm doing next is Days of the Dead in Indianapolis in June.
Oh yeah, that's awesome.
That's going to be fun. And then, of course, I'm going to be covering the Whorehound Film Festival in August at Indy, because that's a fun one. And, of course, I can't wait for October for Nightmares Film Festival.
Yeah.
That's a fun one. I think I may do what you guys did last time. I may live an hour and a half away from Indy. I'm thinking about going to do an air nib. That'd be pretty cool. Something different, instead of staying at a hotel. I know you guys stayed at an air nib in Columbus for Nightmares, but I bet that was pretty fun.
Yeah, it was one of those things. We'd never stayed at one before, and actually, like a little bit before it, we saw The Barbarian.
Yeah,
it was like, so that was my real. It's like, oh, so that's what it's going to be like.
They had it was like there was a house, and then there was like a small house behind it. The small house was where you could rent out either one, and we were staying in the small. I guess I don't know what it was. A garage, cottage house, cottage house, something. But it had like the Barbarian. It had you had to go through the backyard or through the back of the property, and at the house there was this creepy right next to the door there are these stairs that led down to this basement with this lock on it. So it's like, okay, what is underneath us? But it was super creepy. But
you will have to book that place again.
Yeah, we will. I mean, other than that, it was.
So it's kind of creepy.
It's like,
that's weird. You go watch The Barbarian, because I've seen The Barbarian too, and you go to this house that looks like a Barbarian house with a locked downstairs, man. I think I'd be sleeping with one eye open if I was staying at that place. Because you don't know what's going to happen. Hey, you know something? That could be another horror short you can do,
Hey, exactly.
What lurks in a someone's basement, you can have like a friendly neighbor thinking he's all hunky-dory, but what lurks below the basement? So where can everybody find you on social media and also follow you, for your upcoming films?
You can get find out about upcoming screenings on 1836pictures.com.
Mm-hmm.
And my Instagram handle is Nathan_Barber_film. And I'm also on Twitter, but I don't remember what my Twitter thing is. I'm Nathaniel Barber.
Totally under your name. Yeah,
under my name.
That would be a good start. My Twitter handle and Instagram handle is mbarberfilm. And yeah.
Oh, that's pretty easy to remember. Damn. Hey, you guys, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you for having us. We're really excited to be back, and once we can get you the film, come back again.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because I want to watch it and just feel it, man. Seeing you crawling through there, man. You should have had the tunnel rat war paint, like the black stripe, all that made it more realistic. I mean, you could have modeled it after that G.I. Joe tunnel rat figure. Come on. With the bandana, the war paint, crawling in there with a little knife and shit. That would have been cool. And then you could do like a blooper afterwards going, yes, I modeled myself after this tunnel rat G.I. Joe figure. Everybody have a great night.